Sit here. You can move the chairs across. Thank you. Hola.
Hola.
Hannah.
Alfred.
Hannah.
Alfred.
Alfred.
Well done.
Yay.
Hey,
Yeah, it was
Natalie.
a good game. Yeah. And another big game for the Australian under-23 men's team. And as we look at that lineup there, we can see number one is Thomas Milner, what we like to call the seagull, his special manoeuvre. Number two, Josh McKenzie, a world champion player from South Africa, 2016. Cameron Lewis, a new addition to the under-23s, a very strong, dominant player. Alex Barnes-Keegan, Barnesy is what we like to call him, likes to play extremely flat to the bottom of the pool and what we like to call is the plug of the team. Marco, a new player for this under-23, hailing from Colombia, a very strong, fast, tenacious player. Number 8, Connor Munnings, an extremely strong, almost tactically highly aware player in the centre corridor. Andreas, a dominant player as well. Richard Cleary, hailing from the Rat Mansion, an extremely strong, dedicated, committed member of this team. Mitch Piccoli, number 11, his father Arnie is an extremely historically strong player, so let's see if he can put a bit of Arnie's magic in the water today. Evan Wang, a new addition as well to the under-23 team, tenacious and extremely enthusiastic player. And Ben Stepkovich, a dedicated player to this team. Let's see what these boys can do today.
Hola Hanna, buenas noches Argentina, buenas noches América. Acá seguimos con el partido de sub-23 masculino de Argentina-Australia. Hoy Argentina formando con Alan Ortiz, Franco Berríos, Nicolás Gianotti, Ramiro Rama Maureles, Fabián López, Leandro Monzón, Michel Francisco Bucchini, José Greter y Ariel Girala, dirigidos por Juan Lecky y Sebastián Lugo.
So we can see the buzzer counting down there. The Argentinians splashing. They're an extremely passionate team, which is always good to see at a World Championships. And we've got 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see what the boys can put in the pool today. And that's a fast strike from the Argentinian team. They beat the Australians to the park and they're maintaining strong possession.
Bueno, ahí arranca el partido. Toda la jugada está en el medio por ahora. Se van hacia la pared derecha. Hanna.
And you can see here that the Australians are maintaining that screen, a crucial part of the Australian game. You can see they've got their numbers on their bottom and they're holding possession nicely. So let's see what the boys can do. And I think we can see some Australian possession. They're just trying to pull it off that wall. The Argentinians are still driving, maintaining possession, and that's a free puck for Australia. So let's see what the Australian boys are going to put in the pool now.
Bueno, Argentina jugando de color negro, Australia de color blanco. Ahora hay una falta en la mitad de la cancha. Se cobra un advantage. Saca el equipo australiano hacia la pared izquierda. Están abriendo en media luna. Ahí tratando de cortar el José el Colo. Ahí abriendo hacia la pared. Ahí Fabián López. Ahí tratando de recuperar. Abre una media luna. José hacia la mitad. José el Colo.
And you can see here the Australians just fighting to maintain possession. The Argentinians are an extremely tenacious group of players, and it's good to see their numbers on the bottom. Australia's made a good pass to their winger, who's trying to feed the puck and get it out of that contest. Just a little bit of overcommitting from that halfback there, and Argentina have managed to break through that screen.
Bueno, el equipo de Argentina tratando de abrir con una media luna. Australia lo vuelve a cortar, trata de hacer una media luna, se vuelve a cortar. Ahí va el Colo, el José el Colo está abriendo una linda diagonal por la izquierda. Ahí está Fabián López. Michel lo estoy viendo ahí acompañar. Se para el partido. Hay una obstrucción del equipo argentino. Tenemos un advantage en contra. Cana.
And you can see there it's a free puck for Australia. A lot of subs coming out of the water. It's always an interesting call as whether to actually substitute out of the pool on a free puck. And we can see that they're setting up now. The Argentinians have excellent bottom time, and it's good to see that pressure on the Australian team.
Bueno, ahí vuelve a tomar las riendas del tejo el equipo australiano. Argentina tratando de cortar, molestando ahí la salida. Los están llevando hacia la pared derecha del ataque argentino. Ahí Australia tratando de mantener el tejo en la pared. Argentina tratando de trabar y que no salga. Sale el equipo australiano por la pared. Hanna.
And you can see here the Australians are under a lot of pressure from the Argentinians. Australia just struggling to get its numbers on the bottom. Often we're coming down and there's 1 or 2 Australian players and 4 Argentinian players. A loose pass there from the Argentinian player back into their rotation, which was actually capitalised on by the Australian player. That's Barnsey there with a nice strong curl. Managed to lose possession, unfortunately, and we just didn't have those numbers on the bottom behind them.
Buen corte de Ariel Giral ahí, se manda con una diagonal hacia la mitad del terreno. Hay un cobro, un penal. Penal a favor de Argentina, un penalty.
It looks like a penalty, that's right. And we can see that there's a 2-on-1 defended by the star, Richard Cleary. No, there's a change. We've got Josh McKenzie coming in. Now, Josh is known for his prowess in defending 2-on-1s, so let's see what he's got to offer the team today.
Bueno, Argentina tiene un penal a favor. Sacan, ahí tratando de defender, se está peleando el jugador de Australia, me parece que lo sacó hacia la esquina. Fue defendido, no goal.
And that was an excellent lot of defence there from Josh McKenzie. He's managed to defend a 2-on-1. That's his second 2-on-1 which he's defended for this tournament. Just a ref's time out here. They're having a discussion as to what happens. It'll be interesting to see what the call is after this. From what I could see, it was a clear defence. Josh McKenzie's known for his manoeuvrability in the pool, which I think gives him a huge advantage with his 2-on-1 defence as well.
Hay una duda ahí de los árbitros, están viendo si el jugador australiano cometió falta. Momento crítico ahora para definir si es gol o no. Están hablando con el jefe de árbitros, ahí están viendo cada uno dando su impresión. Veremos en qué resulta este cobro.
Always an anxious moment for a team watching referees do this, and let's see what the decision is. Oh, there we go. So it has been called. And Argentina. 1 goal to Argentina off a penalty. Let's see what Greg, the coach, Stinson, can offer towards the boys for words of advice. I'm sure there'll be some fire coming out of his mouth right now. And a nice strong push off the strike. Argentina has an extremely fast style of play, very tenacious. I think they're being head coached by a Colombian, Sebastian Niligo, so it's interesting to see that Colombian style of play almost reflect in the Argentinians game with their own flavour as well.
Bueno, Argentina con ese gol, bueno, parece que 2 árbitros, prevaleció lo que habían visto 2 árbitros. Estamos 1-0, ahora Australia sale con todo a tratar de descontar. El juego ahora está en la mitad de la cancha, vuelve a frenarse el partido. Una obstrucción, una falta del brazo de un jugador australiano. Tenemos un tiro libre prometedor ahí en la mitad de la cancha. Hanna.
And you can see that Argentina just have that passion in their game today, which we can't quite see coming out of the Australians' game. Australia is known for being a slow starter during games and at tournaments, so hopefully the boys can... we'll see. It'll be interesting to see if they can pull it out. Now, Argentina putting a lot of pressure on the Australian backline at the moment. That 3-way rotation working very nicely to clear the puck out. and it's pinned underneath the Australian sub-bench, which is always a good place for the puck to be for the defensive team underneath their sub-bench. So, Antonio, let's see what Argentina can offer right now.
Bueno, en este momento Argentina tratando de que Australia no salga, Australia tratando de abrir, ahí tratando de cortar. Ahí lo vemos a Ariel Girala tratando de cortar esa media luna, lo van acompañando Alan Ortiz. Ahora el juego se va hacia la derecha de la cancha. Hanna.
Yeah, that's right, and you can really see that tenacity coming out in the game. Australia just struggling to make forward momentum. They're managing to move the puck nicely around the court, but just not get those numbers on the bottom for that forwards drive at the moment. Argentina losing possession to the Australian halfback there. He's trying to feed the winger, but unfortunately there's 3 or 4 Argentinian players down on the bottom with extremely strong presence.
Bueno, ahí lo vimos recién a Leandro Monzón tratando de cortar el avance. Ahora logra abrirse el equipo australiano. Hace zigzag, una diagonal. Argentina tratando de cortar. Hanna.
Yeah, that's right, and you can really see the Australians trying to move the puck around, but Argentina is just beating them with their numbers on the bottom at the moment. The Australian boys really need to get it out of that contest. They need to utilise their off players more effectively at the moment and feed them the puck. A strong drive through the middle from the Australians, offloading to the halfback who's maintaining possession. Argentina's still got their numbers behind the puck, and you can see there's never less than 3 Argentinian players on the bottom. And that's a free puck for the Australians. So let's see what they can set up here and put that pressure on the Argentinian goal tray. Antonio.
Una falta muy complicada ahí. Tenemos una advantage en la mitad del arco, muy cerca de nuestra zona defensiva. Ahí arranca Australia tratando de ir por el medio. Argentina tratando de frenar. Ahí lo vemos a Ariel Girala tratando de llevar hacia la pared opuesta. El juego se hace ida y vuelta en este momento. Hanna.
Extremely strong defence there from the Argentinian backs. The puck actually being knocked down from the corner of the goal tray. So it's really good to see that pressure and composure from the Argentinian backline, which is a young team. So seeing that come together is extremely impressive at a World Championships.
Ahí vemos a Alan Ortiz allá en la esquina tratando de frenar el juego. Ahora Australia logra abrir, hace una medialuna. Trata de centralizar, ahí lo estamos viendo a Alan tratando de frenar el juego, Ariel lo ayuda, están tratando de abrirse hacia la pared izquierda, Australia recupera, ahora vuelven a salir, vuelve a entrar el equipo australiano, momento complicado para Argentina ahora defendiendo, yendo hacia la pared izquierda. Hanna.
Argentina, very strong defence here. A lot of composure from that back line. Australia putting pressure on the team, but just not getting their numbers there to the breakdown. You can see that Australia is switching the puck around the back line. And is it in the goal? Yes, it is. So that's a goal for Australia, and they've called it. So that's a strong push from the Australian forward line. Back line, nice composure, moving it around. Congratulations to Australia for that goal. Argentina will not give up, and it's 1-1 here.
Bueno.
So that's Alex Barnes-Keegan, scoring the goal there. What I like to call him before is the limpet of the team. I don't think anyone here in the tournament can actually sit flatter on the bottom than Barnesy. An extremely hard player to play against, a very consistent, strong player, so good to see his performance lifting today. Antonio.
Bueno, finalmente el asedio de Australia dio sus frutos. Inteligentemente creo que lo jugaron por el lado derecho, que no está el banco de relevos de Argentina. Hubo mucha presión y finalmente el partido se pone 1-1.
So some nice words here. I'm sure it'll be interesting to actually hear what this coach is saying. 2 coaches in the pool today for the Australian team. So we've got Greg Stinson there with the cap on, looking good. The caps are actually an extra small size, so I'm actually impressed that it's managed to fit over Stino's head there. A bit of power coming from the Australians there. A nice composed cheer. That's Australia tends to be quite understated and relaxed with its cheering compared to other countries. The Argentinian team, on the other hand, have an extremely passionate cheer and style of play. So I think the styles of play are actually reflected in the way that the team comes together and cheers. What are your comments on that, Antonio?
Bueno, Argentina pidió minuto, tratando de frenar este ímpetu australiano de los últimos minutos. Ahora vuelve a arrancar el partido. Ganamos el tejo en la mitad de la cancha. El juego se está yendo hacia ahora a la pared izquierda. Ahora está sobre el centro de la cancha. Hay un cobro de los argentinos en contra. A ver, ¿para quién es el cobro? Hay una obstrucción o una falta de guante de mano. A ver.
So that's a free puck there. Let's see if Argentina has any set plays off their free pucks. Free pucks are always an interesting one at a tournament. I mean, a lot of people place a lot of value on those free pucks, but whether or not they are actually that crucial is yet to be decided. And we can see the Argentinians choosing a defensive method of free puck. And we can see there a nice strong drive from the halfback, feeding it into the winger. Argentina putting that pressure on, very close goal. A lot of pressure coming here from the Australian back line and forward line. And is that in the... Yes, Alfred, I think that is a goal for Australia. How do you think the Argentinians will be feeling at the moment?
Un avance muy rápido de Australia. Entran al arco y se pone el partido 2-1.
So that's a goal there from Richard Cleary, number 10, also a resident of the Rat Mansion. And as we can see, there's a strong performance from people coming from the Rat Mansion. So I actually think that place may be making people stronger with that kind of living environment. So it may be something that other coaches in the world might want to investigate, is those kind of living conditions for those players. What's your comment on that, Alfred?
Bueno, ahora tenemos que remontar el partido. Estábamos 1 arriba, ahora estamos 2 abajo, 2-1, así que es momento de que el equipo argentino avance y logre empatar el partido.
So we can see a strong drive up the wall there. The winger, Australian winger, putting a lot of pressure on the back line there. They're coming down with those numbers now, which is good. From the initial start of the game, there just weren't those numbers on the bottom, so it's good to see that Australia has started putting its players on the bottom of the pool, which is where they need to be if they want to win this game. Argentina still looking composed and in control, and it's really fantastic to see a nice strong game for the Australians and the Argentinian team this morning.
Bueno, Argentina, faltando 3 minutos, vuelve a ser asediado por el equipo australiano. El juego se vuelve a frenar. Teníamos una falta en contra. Ahora tenemos nuevamente una advantage en contra. Ahora complicado porque estamos muy cerca del arco. Así que ahora veremos cómo responde Argentina.
So that's a free puck awarded to the Australians after a previous free puck because the Argentinian team was breaking. So they have to wait until the team taking the free puck has actually made contact with the puck before they leave the line. Otherwise, they're called for breaking, in which case the team gets another free puck. So you can see here, that's a free puck for the Argentinian teams. Australia chopping something that Australians really... don't usually get pulled up for, so I think the boys need to just clean up their game a little bit, get their composure back. What's your comment on that, Alfred?
Ahí logró abrir el Leandro Monzón, pero fue parado con una falta, así que ahora tenemos un tiro libre que acaba de sacar Argentina. Australia nos la está complicando ahí, recupera el tejo, vuelve a abrir en media luna. El equipo argentino tratando de cortar esa maniobra. Ahora el juego se desarrolla en la pared derecha. Allá está Ariel Girala y Ana Ortiz tratando de frenar el juego. El número 11, Michel me parece que lo han mandado a la zona de castigo.
So that's an Argentinian player has been sent out there as he sits down. Now let's look and see if... And who's been sat out there, Alfred?
El 11, José Greter, es el que es castigado para ir a la zona de castigo.
So that's a goal there. Unfortunately, Argentina just couldn't keep it out. They're under a lot of pressure. Oh no, it's actually been called no goal. So Argentina have a free puck here. Australia just setting back off the line. It's always a hard moment as a player just to have that mental barrier when you get a goal disallowed, it can make or break a team. So it'll be interesting to see how the Australians can recover from a disallowed goal. And Argentina looking very composed and strong here, just still maintaining possession. And we can see them driving, reloading to their back. Argentina tends to play a lot of forward motion and then reloading to their players sitting behind them. You can see that traditional Argentinian move. And the Australians have managed to get in there and break up that pack. And a beautiful drive off the wall there by the centre forward, Australian centre forward, Alex Barnes-Keegan. We can see Ben Stefkovic, what we like to call the powerhouse of the team, just waiting patiently, holding that line. And it's been flicked off the wall. Argentina still maintaining that strong possession. Australia still screening behind them. And another great steal from an Australian forward there.
Bueno, momento complicado ahora, jugando con 5 jugadores por la expulsión del Colo. Ahora casi se está por terminar el tiempo, tratando de aguantar estos últimos segundos para que termine el primer tiempo. Está por terminar, termina el primer tiempo. Hannah.
So there we go, and it's half time there, and as the team swap ends, like my brother was commentating yesterday, you can actually see it is an awkward moment for teams as they cross across, and often there's a little shoulder bump there, a little death stare there here and there, and we want to keep it friendly, we want to keep it positive, and most teams obviously keep their heads down. I really like to see what the Argentinians do here with their timeouts. It's a very, very close game here. And Argentina, the sort of team that just does not give up, which is a really amazing trait and a sign of strength in a team. So we can see them coming together. They seem like an extremely united team. So it's good to see that passion into the game. Alfred.
Bueno, ahora momento de hablar en el equipo. Sufrimos mucho el asedio en los últimos 5 minutos, de ahí vino el 2-1. Tendrán que hacer una estrategia ahora para arrancar el segundo tiempo, creo, porque todavía le quedan unos segundos al Colo en el banco de castigo. Así que, bueno, esperamos lo mejor de Argentina. La verdad que ha sido muy intenso el juego, así que, bueno, esperamos ahora la segunda parte, Hannah.
So, as you can see, the team's having some passionate words there. I'm really liking the Argentinians' closeness of this game. It's good to see that passion in the water. And I think also they're really capitalising on the smooth, fast bottom of this pool. You can see that they play a nice fast game. And I think the fact that these world-class facility here at the Doone Kennedy Aquatic Centre is extremely helpful for this team as well. Open game, nice fast bottom, big open pool. It's an amazing facility here in Hobart, so it's good to see both teams capitalising on the facility as well.
Bueno, la charla ya terminó, ahora el equipo argentino relajándose ahí en el arco, esperando que pasen los segundos para que arranque el segundo tiempo. Lo que todavía no sé si ya el Colo ya ahí haciendo tipo de jaca argentino, que quieren empezar el juego.
Argentina, a lot of splashing going on there in the team. I think this is a fire-up strategy. A lot of teams play extremely well when they're fired up. Some teams don't play so well when they're fired up. You'll see a bit more of a calm vibe coming from the Australian team. I think in general, Australian teams tend to not be as fired up, which can cost them starts of games. So I'd like to see some internal firing coming from the boys today. And it's been a really tight game so far. And I think this is going to be a fantastic second half. Don't you think, Alfred?
Bueno, arranca el partido, el Colo ya está de nuevo en la banda derecha, ya cumplió su penalización, así que se vuelve a jugar. Argentina muy decidido, gana el tejo, se va hacia la pared derecha, el juego está centralizado, ahí Franco Berríos con Alan Ortiz tratando de entrar por el medio, Fabián López ayuda, ahora el juego hacia la derecha, Australia tratando de frenar el partido. Hannah.
Yeah, and you can really see a lot of pressure from the start of the buzzer on the Australian team. A nice deep switch coming there. Australia really pulling it across into safety, back underneath their sub-bench. But Argentina's right there. They're starting to predict those moves. Argentina getting to the bottom, losing their numbers a little bit here. A strong drive up the wall, getting curled off, unfortunately. Back to the play, and Josh McKenzie driving through the pack. Let's see if he can offload to the winger. And that's a free puck for Australia. Argentina there obstructing. So basically, in underwater hockey, you're not supposed to put your body between them and the puck. And Argentina actually have done that, which is why the Australians have been awarded a free puck right now.
Bueno, ahí vemos una nueva falta del equipo argentino, una obstrucción por lo que marca el árbitro. A Australia tratando de abrir en media luna, abrir el equipo para poder centralizar. Argentina tratando de cortar y llevar hacia las paredes. Ahora sigue en el dominio Australia del tejo. Argentina tratando de cortar. Allá Ariel Giral, ahí en un complicado ahora, muy cerca del arco argentino. Muy cerca Australia de convertir. Argentina tratando de llevar a la pared. Se para el juego. Hannah.
Yeah, and a strong drive from the Australians there. Argentina still putting up an extremely tight defence. An Argentinian player just holding on to the puck there, maintaining that composure. He's not worried. He's got the puck. His teammates are coming. That's a really powerful position to see the Argentinians in. Incredible composure from such a young, inexperienced team. So the Australians here just failing to pull it out of that contest, and another free puck against the Australian team.
Bueno, hay una falta de un jugador australiano. Tenemos un tiro libre en nuestra pared derecha.
Good to see some female refs in the water at this tournament. Really important to have that gender equality here in the reffing and also in the official capacity. So a strong drive up the wall by the Argentinian. And there's a good shot of Stino, the Australian assistant coach, who's actually doing a lot of the work with the boys at the moment. So go Stino. And I know he's an incredibly passionate coach, and I know that the boys respond extremely well to him. So it's great to see that co-coaching coming across from Nick Martin and Greg Stinson. Nice protection there from that fullback under a lot of pressure from the Argentinians. They've started to pop that pressure on the Australian fullback at the half mark for the switch. We can see the referees pulling out the puck. And that's against the Australian team. Argentina's putting a lot of pressure on us. Really good to see that, Alfred.
Buena presión del equipo argentino. Ahí lo vimos a Franco Berrío tratar de cortar y llevar hacia la pared. Ahora el equipo argentino tenía el tejo y hubo una falta de un jugador australiano. Tenemos un buen tiro libre como para empatar el partido.
Australian team setting up there. Some communication coming from the fullback. Australia does rely on its fullbacks for a lot of communication to the players. So good to see Josh McKenzie really stepping up to the plate there, letting his team know who's going to be hitting that puck. So that's good to see. Nice strong defence from Ben Stefkovic, clearing the puck to his winger and backing up that puck, an extremely important passage of play. Argentina's still got those numbers on the bottom. They're happy with that puck on the wall. They're not in. They're happy. Puck's in control. No problems. And you can see here there's not one but two, but three pairs of nage fins on the screen there. Just like to have a chat about the nage fins. Lots of athletes in this game with those fins, and you can see obviously they're making a big impact on the ability of the players to accelerate and take off fast. So great fins to give a go as well.
Bueno, ahora el partido muy friccionado ahí en la pared. Argentina tratando de presionar, de recuperar. Ahí lo vemos al Colo ir por la pared, tratando de abrir. Ahí se vuelve. Ahí Australia recupera. Ahí Argentina vuelve a presionar. Buena presión del equipo argentino ahora, tratando de centralizar. Ahí lo vemos a Fabián López. Ahí vemos un pase. Ahí buscando compañía Franco Berríos. Vuelve a recuperar Australia. Hannah.
You can see Cameron Lewis, number 4, the Australian player, coming in with an extremely tough drive, and that has been called. So we've had a kick out here. Let's have a look and see which player has been asked to exit the pool for 1 minute, and that's an Australian player. So Australia is now down to 5 players. Australian number 7, Marco. So Australian number 7 sitting on the side. They've got 1 minute for, it looks like an obstruction. So let's see if the Australians can hold that composure. It is a sign of a strong team if they can play with 5 players in defence. Now, if I was their coach, I know what I'd been saying to these boys. I'd be telling them to lock it down. They're underneath their sub bench. They've just got to sweep it to the sub bench and hold that possession until that player gets back in the pool. Let's see if Argentina can capitalise on this, Alfred.
Bueno, una buena oportunidad para Argentina, así también lo ve Juan Lecky, el coach. Pide minuto para armar una buena jugada porque estamos con 6 hombres, Australia con un hombre en la zona de castigo. Creo que la oportunidad es impresionante para poder empatar y hacer algunas de las jugadas que tiene preparado el elenco gaucho.
So there's been a timeout called there for both teams to have a strong word to their players. The coaches coming in. Australia, we've got a nice hit from the Australian player, Andreas. Good strong hit there. Nice and fast with those Najar fins on. Very good. Now, can the Australian team clear this park? A lot of pressure there. Now, I've got a good shot of the referee there. Let's just get through the players. We can see that reloading technique which the Argentinians are using. They've got a very strong rotational system and they're very well versed. So we've got a 2-minute kick out for unsportsmanlike. That signal there, the fist to the forehead and the pumping action and then the 2 minutes. So that's a sign for poor sportsmanship. It might have been a flick to the head. I didn't actually see what it was. What did you see, Alfred?
Bueno, ahí el árbitro se marca con el puño en la cabeza, evidentemente hubo un lanzamiento que fue a la máscara o a la cara del jugador contrario, por eso sufrimos una expulsión y el tiro libre en contra también. Ahora Australia avanzando y llegando a zona complicada del área argentina. Ahí se para el juego, hay una obstrucción, penal. Hannah.
Yeah, so we can see there, Alfred, that they're actually calling a ref's timeout. Is it a penalty goal? Is it a 2-on-1? Let's see what these referees decide. Like we spoke about earlier, always at a very anxiety-inducing time for a team just to watch this. Now, the captains are permitted to listen to the conversation. What we like to call the captain lurk. And you can see here Josh McKenzie just perfecting that captain lurk. You don't want to be too obtrusive. You don't want to upset the referees. Obviously, it's their decision to make. But you are entitled to listen to what they're talking about. Okay, there we go. So they've called a penalty.
Sí.
Penalty shot. Alfred, how do you think the Argentinians are going to go defending this?
Bueno, ahí finalmente los árbitros estaban en duda. Van a cobrar penal. Ariel Girala se queda para defenderlo. Veremos cómo resulta este penal. Se había escapado el jugador de Australia. Ahí saca.
Nearly defended by the Argentinian player, number 13. A very, very close defense there. Now, just letting those spectators know who aren't familiar with underwater hockey, penalty goals are penalty shots are extremely hard to defend. I've always said actually the pressure is on those people taking that 2-on-1, not the person defending it, because really it should be a goal. So congratulations there to number 10, Richard Cleary, who's also managed to score quite a few goals at this tournament, similar to his girlfriend Olivia Sanderson, number 1 on the Australian under-23 team. So obviously a bit of a power couple, underwater hockey couple there. So that's really exciting to see some more underwater hockey couples into the sport. So good to see. Let's see if the Argentinians can come back from this, Alfred.
Bueno, Australia supo aprovechar ese hombre de más, hizo un buen contragolpe, cometimos falta y finalmente el penal en contra y ahora volvemos a sufrir un gol, pero con falta. El árbitro del lado derecho está cobrando que no es gol, es un tiro libre a favor de Argentina. Hannah.
So we can see there that it's actually been called no goal for gloving. So the Australians have made contact, the puck made contact with an Australian player's glove as they place the puck in the goal tray, which means it's been disallowed. You are only allowed to make contact with the stick and the puck, otherwise you'll get called for gloving, which is that signal there. Australian halfback Richard Cleary, number 10, under a lot of pressure, being squeezed out by the Argentinian players. Argentina just had this fantastic presence and tenaciousness on the bottom of the pool. Richard just getting composure. He's chosen to rip back inside instead of using his fullback. An interesting call there from number 10. But he's gained an advantage puck there for chopping. Argentinian players chopping at the Australian player, number 10. So let's see what the Australian boys can put on offer here with this free puck, Alfred.
Bueno, faltando un poquito menos de 7 minutos, Argentina tendrá que poner todo el esfuerzo. Todavía creo que estamos jugando con 5. Momento complicado porque Australia como que tomó mucha confianza. 2 faltas seguidas, ahora volvemos a sufrir una advantage en contra en la mitad de la cancha. Será momento de tranquilidad de los jugadores para poder revertir este resultado. Hanna.
This is a really exciting game to be watching. I mean, Argentina is an extremely new team to this under-23s division. And I mean, this is a close game. And will Australia put this puck in? They've got a lot of numbers on the bottom. They're really driving forwards. We can see that. And the puck has gone in. And the referees have called it. Yes, it's a goal. So it's a goal to an Australian player. Great solid defence, though, from the Argentinians. They still had their numbers on the bottom. So that's a goal there. You can see that the boys are looking like they've lifted now. So, again, a nice strong goal. Ben Stefkovic, and that's a timeout for the Australian team. So Ben Stefkovic scoring a goal. So a lot of the goals from the Australian teams have actually come from their halfbacks today. Good to see those halfbacks really pushing up nice and strong for the overlap there. So well done to Ben Stefkovic. I know Benny will be feeling pumped after scoring that goal. He's an extremely good player, and it's good to see him put one on the board in this game. So we can see here Greg Simpson having a chat to the boys. It's gone up to 4-1 now. This is Australia's timeout that they've called. Nice strong words. It'd be interesting to get some shots there. As we can see, the players, they're looking more spirited, actually. Good to see them put that enthusiasm back in the pool and get control of the game a little bit more. Pounding to the crowd. Good cheerleading. It's always good to see the Australian numbers there supporting the crowd as well. Some Argentinian players cheering. Always good that passion in the pool, Alfred.
Bueno, Australia presionó y ha logrado el cuarto gol. Estamos a 5 minutos. Es momento de poner y de aguantar esta presión y descontar porque el partido todavía está a tiro de empate.
Argentina winning the strike there, driving forwards to their player sitting behind the person who takes the strike. Really tight, strong drive. Still got those numbers on the bottom. They're staying down, those Argentinian boys. They just won't give up. Reaching back for the puck. Often when a team is reaching back for the puck, it means that they're sitting a little bit too far forward of their players. So I think Argentina might just need to tighten up on their drives as well. A lot of strapping work there from Cameron Lewis. Australia has an extremely strong team of physiotherapists. I'd just like to say a big shout out to those physiotherapist teams. Nick Stefkovic always delivering the results. I think he does over hundreds of treatments during a tournament. So good to see that strapping tape being utilised by Cameron because I know he has some issues there. So great to see that support. So Argentina's got a free puck here, Alfred.
Bueno, ahí Michel se abrió sobre la izquierda, le cometieron una falta. Ahora tiremos un tiro libre. Hay una avalancha ahí de jugadores argentinos tratando de llegar al arco australiano. Ahí lo veo al Colo presionando ahí, Franco Berrío haciendo una finta. Ariel Giral ahí tratando de cortar el juego. Australia abre hacia la izquierda. Aparentemente hay un cobro o sigue el juego. Hanna.
Yeah, so really strong play there from the Argentinian team, still putting a lot of pressure. Australia has done a lot of defence here. There's been a bit of a on-off approach from the Australian men's team, like an under-23 men's team here. They're either driving hard towards the goal tray or they seem to be defending hard. So not making this game easy for themselves, I don't think, the Australian boys, putting themselves under a lot of pressure. And I think they're going to be tired after this game, not quite connecting as a team today in the pool, Alfred, but Argentina really seem to be firing as a team.
Bueno, ahí el árbitro marca una obstrucción de un jugador argentino, mueve la cabeza, evidentemente hizo alguna falta con la cabeza o se quiso sacar un jugador de la marca con la cabeza. Bueno, somos penalizados ahí con un tiro libre en la pared izquierda de la defensa de Australia.
So here we go. Australia have been putting on that pressure. They just need to rip it out of that contest. Argentina very strong in a contest. Like I said, their head coach, Sebastian Lugo, is working with them. He's from Colombia, and I know at Colombia we'd like to describe them as the piranhas in the way they play, meaning that they're incredibly tenacious and strong on the bottom. Australia just not managing to shake that tenacity, not managing fully to rip it out of the contest. So let's say Australia has 2.5 minutes left. Let's see if they can start to rip it out of that contest there. A lot of free pucks in this game. And that's a free puck for Australia. Argentina being called for chopping. Let's watch the boys push up. Argentina setting back.
Momento complicado ahora, los equipos, muchas faltas, evidentemente el esfuerzo físico de ambos se está notando ahora en estos últimos minutos. Ahora Argentina retomando el tejo, tratando de ir por el medio, se vuelve a cortar el partido, muy cortado en estos últimos minutos. Ahí le dice algo a Ramiro, el árbitro, el 4, me parece que va a la zona de castigo, sí, el 4, Ramiro Mourele.
So we've had a kick out there for the Argentinian team. Black kick out. Now this player, he'll be out for almost the rest of the game. I would be interested to see if the Australian boys can find that space created when a player has been kicked out. Now often when a player actually gets kicked out, a team tends to lift. So I think Argentina may actually, we can see that strong possession. They're really committing to it. Another free puck there. Now just here for those viewers at home, in the last 2 minutes of a game, the clock is actually stopped. And we've had another kick out, 1 minute, for an obstruction.
Ahí están llamando al jugador número 7, Fabián López. Me parece que también va a la zona de castigos. Complicado estos últimos minutos de Argentina. Ahora defendiendo con 4. Momento de Australia ahora sacando un tiro libre en la mitad de nuestro terreno. Argentina logra llevar hacia la derecha. Ahí está Alan Ortiz, Ariel tratando de... Ahí lo veo el Colo. Se está llevando el juego hacia la derecha. Ahí recupera Franco Berríos. Se trata de abrir. Ahí lo veo combinando con Michel.
Really impressive play here from the Argentinians. I mean, they're down 2 players at the moment, and they're just keeping their numbers on the bottom. They have not given up at any point. Extremely strong play there. Well done to the Argentinian team for just keeping that composure. A real sign of a strong team if they can keep that composure with numbers down like this. So 50 seconds left. Will the Australians capitalise on playing with less players as an opposition team? That puck nearly going into the tray there. Argentina strong defence. Australia just not managing to, and it's another free puck there.
Hay un cobro, penal y gol. Hubo una falta de un jugador argentino, pero el australiano logró llegar con el tejo al arco, así que directamente se cobra gol. A Australia 5, Argentina 1.
Penalty goal to the Australian team there. So the boys have managed to get it together just at the end of the game. Like I said before, Australia a bit of a slow starter this morning. Good to see them find their legs though in the second half of this game. Argentina still not giving up. It's amazing to see that courage and tenacity in a team, Alfred.
Bueno, el partido ya en los últimos segundos. Un gran esfuerzo de los dos, una entrega física muy admirable de ambos equipos. Argentina tratando de finalizar este encuentro y se termina el partido. Australia gana 5-1. Gana.
So that's time there, and that's a 5-1 win to the Australian team. So the boys have done well to come back, but I think they've got something to work on after that game as well. Argentina, an extremely tough opposition and a good, well-fought game for both teams there today, Alfred.
Bueno, el saludo final acá muy bien con Hanna. Un saludo a todas las familias de Mendoza, Santa Fe y Buenos Aires que nos han seguido en esta transmisión. Muy amable y gracias Hanna por estar conmigo.
So that's it from us today, and I'm off to enjoy the wonderful market. Runs parallel with Criterion Street, right opposite where the South Africans are staying. So if you are, it runs in town. If anyone's walking about in town as an international player, I would highly recommend heading towards the farmers market today. It's on until approximately 1 o'clock. Get a snack, get some coffees, absolutely delicious, fresh Tasmanian produce there. So that'll be me for this afternoon. Over and out.
G'day, Ben. The camera's this way, Ben. Yeah. You got your ears taped there, mate. Does that just keep the snorkels going?
Nah, I copped a hit in this year on the first game against NZ, so I've got a hole in that eardrum, and then earlier in the warm-up games I got perforated that one. So they're both coming along, but they breed them tough in New South Wales, so I'll keep playing.
Okay, so you had a hard-taught game there. You had to start off with 1 goal down against Argentina. How'd you guys regroup and come back on that one?
Yeah, it was a game of 2 halves. Obviously, in the first half, I think we were a bit sleepy. The Argentinians come out very strong and passionate, and then in the second half, we picked up the intensity and got a few goals. But credit to the boys for hanging in there and opening up the game.
Yeah, I saw a lot of great efforts on your behalf there, mate, and staying down there, backing up your flicks, and I think that was one of the things that really brought you guys back together, is sort of showing that leadership in the back line and making sure it was all happening. You sort of took command of it, but they came back. You're certainly right about the passion, the splashing the water. How'd you guys feel about that?
Oh, it's great for the sport. We like the atmosphere, like when other teams do the haka and stuff. It builds up the atmosphere, makes you feel passionate, and it up a bit as well to go out and play strong.
Well, I'm getting a signal from the booth. We're running out of time here, Ben. Good luck for the afternoon. Who do you got this afternoon?
I've got a game against Canada.
Good luck with that game, and best with the tournament, buddy. Okay, cheers.